we've got another build guide for Amon. This time it's a CRYO assault rifle specialty one. So we're using the Affinity Class Mod for this one. It's all about doing as much gun damage as possible, stacking Affinity and just freezing the absolute hell out of all your enemies. A lot of fun, there's a lot of AoE and it's just really good, this one, especially with certain pieces of ordnance. So fully comprehensive guide here, we'll break everything down, everything you need to know, all the gear that you need to tell you where to get it. Drop a like if you enjoy this one, subscribe if you're new here, and let's just get into it. We'll start with the specializations. So for the specializations, you don't actually need, I mean, it was hard to decide what I wanted here, to be fair, so we've chosen 20 points into brute for gun damage and 20 points into sharpshooter for reload speed and handling. The sharpshooter ones are just so we can get the 3 perks. Some of these you could probably change them up and you'll be fine, but what you would definitely want is the riddle you this, so that's, you need your 20 points in brute for that. When we deal gun damage, we're going to gain a stack, which increases gun damage, and they fall off after 6 seconds, so just more gun damage, that's what we're aiming for here. We've got down but not out. During fight for your life, we can now aim down sights, and we don't suffer accuracy penalties, just easy for getting back up if you do go down. We're going to be really tanky, so we might not actually need this one, to be fair. We've got in the zone, when aiming, we're going to gain increased gun damage and critical hit damage. Again, more gun damage, and we're going to try and prioritise aim for that increased damage. And lastly, we've got one shot, one kill. More of a sniper skill, to be fair, so this one can probably swap that out as well. But that's just what we've chosen with the points that we've been able to spend. So we'll jump into the skills now. So for these skills, because our class mod came with 2 bonus points into Icy Rage, 1 bonus point into Thunderous Rage, and 4 bonus points into Burning Rage. So it depends what you get. It can come with Freezer Burn, so it can roll with that. If you do get that, it might be worth kind of changing how this is spec'd and going down this tree. But for the one that we have, we've put all of our points into the blue tree, so nice and easy with that one. First up, obviously, we've got the Scourge action skill, which is our big giant shield. The first skill that we're taking is Wrath of Nature, so increased stats effect, application chance, and cryo effectiveness. Obviously, with it being cryo focused, then this is a no-brainer. It's doubled when the action skill is active, so 37.5% application chance. Keep that in mind, that will come in handy later on. 37.5% cryo effectiveness, but when Scourge is up, that's 75% application chance, which is absolutely mental. Scourge does last quite a while as well, 18 seconds by default, so yeah, this one, absolute belter of a skill. Got Battleborn for gun damage, so when we're nice and healthy, we're getting 40% gun damage, 20% if we're not at maximum health, which is still pretty good, but the 40% is absolutely phenomenal. We've got 5 points into Tail of the Comet, so whenever we deal ordnance damage, we're going to have a chance to apply a cryo status effect that deals damage over time. 60% of the ordnance damage for 4 seconds, so basically any ordnance hit is going to deal an additional 240% damage of that instance if it procs over 4 seconds, and it says cryo application chance 30%, so if we pair that with the 75, so when our action skill's up, this will be triggering 100% of the time. If not, it's 67.5%, which is still pretty high, but if we make sure our action skill's up, this is always going to apply with our ordnance, which is just absolutely incredible. That's what you've seen at the start of the video there. We're taking the Augment Cryonic Thrum, so when Scourge is active, we're going to send out Cryonic Pulses, so because it's a cryo specialty, of course, it's going to deal cryo ordnance damage and restore health, good for tankiness. And while aiming, we're going to reduce our movement speed, we're going to deal bonus cryo damage with our guns that consume Vengeance, so again, just more cryo damage, and that's going to come in really handy with our main assault rifle. We've chosen Bullet Hail as our next skill, so our gunshots are going to have a chance to ricochet as an elemental shard that deals cryo damage, so 20% chance on every shot, and it will do 75% of the damage when it bounces. It will just kind of pick a random enemy and fly to them. Sometimes it can miss and just hit terrain and things like that, so it's not hugely reliable, but it's just extra damage at the end of the day, and it's pretty damn nice. We've chosen Ancient Ways, obviously cryo specialty, no brainer here, 5 points, 30% bonus to all cryo damage, absolutely, give me that. Like I said at the start, we've got 4 points from our class mod into Burning Rage, so we're not actually touching that, but we will get the effects just from the class mod, so that's really nice. We've put 5 points into Icy Rage, we're only getting 2 from the class mod, but that's 7 in total. 8.75% per stack, up to 5 stacks. So that's 43.75% gun damage on top of our other gun damage when that's fully stacked, which is absolutely fantastic. We're also going to get additional gun damage from the class mod as well, but we'll touch on that in the gear section. We're taking Primal Surge, so whenever we apply a status effect to an enemy, there is a chance to partially restore shield and ammo. So ammo restored 30%, shield restored 15%, with a 25% chance on application, so anytime we're applying a cryo, which is going to be pretty high when we take into consideration Wrath of Nature, and when it's paired with Tail of the Comet and our action skill being active, it's over 100%. So basically if you use your ordnance when that is up, it's going to have a 25% every single hit to restore, so if you get lucky you can basically have an infinite ordnance, which is just absolutely phenomenal and quite frankly pretty hilarious at the same time. The capstone we're taking is Glacial Rupture because it's cryo of course, so cryo ordnance damage over 2 hits, and then it creates a big massive cryonic fissure that does massive cryo damage in an area for 6 seconds, so if there's a big group of enemies you just slap that down and you'll just shred them all with the cryo damage. We've got 4 points into Age of Ice, so increased damage to frozen enemies and bosses, so we're going to be freezing quite often, and the extra damage against bosses is just really nice as well. We've got the full 5 points into Thunderous Rage, so when we kill an enemy with shock, but it doesn't need to be shock because our class mod's going to give us these regardless if we're using fire, cryo or shock, we're going to get the bonuses here anyway. Critical hit damage 7.5% per stack, so 37.5% critical hit damage at maximum stack, so when we're getting those crits they're going to be significantly more damaging, which is really nice. And the final skill points we've got here is while hip firing we're getting increased fire rate but decreased gun handling, or while aiming we're getting more gun damage, so 25% more gun damage and handling. So we're going to try prioritize aiming whenever we can because our buffs, including the specialization, is going to be pretty massive here, so it's pretty straightforward to get the build actually going. Like the skills here, they're all, a lot of them are passive. The only thing you need to be concerned about is the stacking mechanics, but we'll touch on that in the gear section. So for the gear, the main assault rifle that we've chosen is the Rowdy Rider. So this is actually a new weapon. This was part of the first bounty pack, the Christmas themed bounty pack. So this effect on here is it has an additional 2 projectiles on critical hits, so because we've got all that critical hit damage and assault rifle damage specialty, this one is just really damn nice, and it always comes in cryo as well, so it should be a little bit easier to farm. You don't need to try and get a specific element. So this one you can actually find from the boss from Bounty Pack 1, which is Mr. Screw. Mr. Screw can be found in the Ministry of Culture. He's over here on the map in the dissected plateau of the Fade Fields. If you just go through there and run to the end, you can kill him for the Rowdy Rider. Drop rate's 9% or 25% on Big Encore. The boss fight itself is quite annoying because he's really tanky. For our second weapon we've chosen the Aegon's Dream, so this is pretty much perfect for this build, especially if you're going down the freezer burn route, but we're not bothered about that for this build here. It's the Vladov Assault Rifle, and the bonus effect is that it shoots cryo as well as fire, so I think it always comes in fire, and the bonus effect is always cryo, so it's going to be dealing 2 types of elemental damage on hit, which is just absolutely fantastic. This one actually drops from Horus. Horus can be found in the Hungarian Plains of the Fade Fields, so again we're in the Fade Fields and he's in this complex here, so it's the part of the story mission. You fight him quite early on in the game, 6% chance to drop, or again 25% if he's on Big Encore. And the last gun that we would suggest, so this is completely optional as well, but it is really good, and it's just down to the fact that it's pretty damn rare to get, especially in this configuration. So this one is the Bod, obviously all-rounder, absolute belter of a weapon. It's got the Sniper secondary fire, which is what we'll be using it in, and it is cryo efficiency as well, which again that's what we'd be looking for as well. So if you can't get this one, don't worry about it, you've got other guns that will be able to do the job for you. This one drops from Axmal. Axmal can be found in the Carcadia district of Dominion City in the Toil of Spoil and Viz Auger Mine, so pretty close to the Lockaway safe house. You just travel there and kill Axmal. Hopefully he'll drop it. It's quite a low drop rate, and with that configuration it's just kind of extremely lucky if you get it in that exact one. If you can't get it, don't worry about it, it is optional at the end of the day. And the main component of this build is the Elementalist class mod. So what this does is the affinity skills that we've unlocked, when we get 1 stack, we get a stack for everything. And for each stack of affinity skills, we're going to gain increased movement speed and damage dealt. Like I said, you can stack these by using any element. So because we're cryo, if we kill an enemy with cryo, we're gaining a stack of all of them anyway. This one comes with assault rifle damage and skill damage, so that's why we're choosing all assault rifles for this build. And this one drops from the Guardian Inceptus. The Guardian Inceptus is obviously the vault boss of the Fade Fields, and he can be found here in the Dissected Plateau, so right near Zadra's backup plan. go through the vault portal and kill the boss there for that. He's got a 4.5% chance if you're playing Amon, or a 0.5% chance on other characters. If he's on Big Encore, it's 18.75% chance, so it's quite a low chance, but that's where you need to go for your best shot at getting this class mod. And the ordnance that we've chosen, simply because it's absolutely fantastic, is the disc jockey. So it's a saw blade launcher that bounces, and it does home in on enemies, so it'll bounce between enemies regardless of where they are. You don't need to like worry about it trying to hit people, it will just try to find them on its own. So this one, when our action skill's active, it's going to trigger Tailor the Comet, and the base damage is pretty high, so the cryo dot's going to be pretty substantial as well, especially with the 20% additional damage per bounce as well. So it's going to hit multiple targets and apply the cryo dot to a lot of people, so absolutely fantastic. So this one, you can actually find this from Sydney Pointy Legs. Again, we're in the Fade Fields, so we don't really need to leave the Fade Fields for much in this one. So Sydney Pointy Legs can be found in the Hungering Plain district again, so right here on the map, and he's up in the kind of mountain area here. So you just go here and kill him. Again, a bit of a gauntlet boss fight, a lot of bandits there, and hopefully he drops the disc jockey. 6% chance or 25% again on Big Encore for that one. And the last piece of gear that's mandatory, I wouldn't even call this mandatory to be fair, we've just chosen this because it's pretty damn fantastic and it makes us super duper tanky. So it's the Onion Shield, so 4 segments. On armor segment break, we're gaining immunity to damage for 2 seconds. On top of that, each plate is going to give us 12.5% damage reduction. So if the shield is completely broken, we're gaining 50% damage reduction, which is just absolutely excellent. I think that's pretty much a perfect roll on that. For the Onion, obviously that's a reference to Shrek. Sorry, not sure what happened there. This one can be found on Sludge Maw, so again, still in the Fade Fields. Sludge Maw can be found up here. Idolator's Noose in the Waterworks area up here. Again, we've touched on this in previous build guides. Sludge Maw is an absolute pain in the arse to farm because he spends half the time underground. But for this one, it's a 9% chance to drop, or again 25% on Big Encore. And the last couple of pieces that you'll need for this are a good rep kit. So we've not chosen anything specific here. This one actually drops from Mr. Screw as well. So just really whatever you can get, whatever's good and works with the build. We've chosen the one that gives us damage reduction by 50% for 4 seconds. Not quite sure how that stacks with the Onion. I don't think it's additive, otherwise that would basically be immunity for 4 seconds on this use, so it's definitely not additive, but again, it just makes us really, really hard to kill, which is nice. And finally, for our enhancement, we've actually chosen a Vladof one, not for the actual effect on the enhancement, more for the stats on there. So we've got gunfire rate 25%, assault rifle accuracy 75%, and gun ADS proficiency, because we're trying to prioritise aiming of 50% there. So just anything you can get your hands on that kind of complements the rest of the build, and you're sorted with that one. And that wraps up the mandatory gear, so not a huge amount. You'll mostly be in the Fade Fields for farming all of these, unless you're going after the bod as well. And that wraps up all the gear that you'll need, so we'll just touch on the firmware, and that'll be us. For the firmware, we've got Deadeye and High Caliber, so all about guns with this one. For the 3 points of Deadeye, you're gaining gun accuracy of 30%, so pair that with our enhancement, our assault rifle accuracy is actually massive. And we've got second point, gun critical damage 25%, again because we're prioritising critical hits. And the third one, to complement that, every critical hit will grant 15% increased critical hit damage per stack for 5 stacks, so a maximum of 75% critical hit damage if it's stacked up fully, so which is really goddamn nice. And for the other one, High Caliber 2 points, projectile speed increased by 25%, just makes it easier to land those hits, and 10% gun damage to go with the rest of our gun damage. So overall, just a really goddamn good build here, and all specialising in the cryo damage and our ordnance for backup for dealing with bigger targets or massive groups of enemies. But freezing everyone to death is just a hilarious fun, so hopefully this has been helpful. Give this one a shot. Like to hear from you down in the comments below, so drop a comment if you've got any feedback or suggestions, or if you'd do this differently. I'd love to hear from you, but hopefully you've enjoyed this one. Drop a like if you have, subscribe if you're new here. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.